If you stop and think about it, your brain is doing like an unbelievable amount of filtering just to get you through the day.
Oh, absolutely. It has to.
Right. When you look at the chaotic parts of the world, say a wildly busy city intersection, or the static on an old television, or even just a crackling campfire, your visual cortex is basically acting like a bouncer.
A very strict bouncer.
Yeah. It looks at the flames, categorizes them as fire, slaps a label on it, and kicks all the other random visual noise out of your consciousness so you can, just move on.
Right, and it does that from an evolutionary standpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't have that biological filter, you'd be paralyzed.
Literally frozen.
Exactly. If you couldn't instantly categorize your environment into neat binary boxes like safe, dangerous, tree, fire, you would be completely overwhelmed by the sheer volume of data hitting your retinas every single second.
We are definitely wired to demand an easily identifiable reality.
We crave order. Right.
But, and this is what we're looking at today, what if that incredible efficiency is actually a trap?
Oh, that's the big question.
Because what if, in our rush to categorize everything, we're kind of blinding ourselves? The artist we are diving into today operates on this premise that all that everyday chaos is actually packed with hidden messages.
Just sitting there.
Right. They're just waiting for you to force yourself to slow down and actually notice them.
And that premise, that's the exact threshold between merely looking at the physical world and truly seeing the psychological one, which is the absolute core of the journey we're unpacking in today's deep dive.
Yes. Today we are taking a deep dive into the fascinating and totally unscripted evolution of Stefan Larhus.
That's an interesting guy.
He really is. He's a completely self-taught artist who just stumbled into this spontaneous discovery and let it completely rewrite his destiny. He adopted this alter ego, Dr. PhldrmauZ, which, for you listening, is spelled P-H-L-D-R-M-A-U-Z, but it's pronounced Dr. PhldrmauZ.
And our mission for this deep dive is to trace that exact evolution. We're looking at how a guy who just, happened to notice something weird through his camera lens transformed himself into what he calls a verwondering architect.
Which translates to an architect of wonder.
Exactly. We need to break down his philosophy, look at his 3 very distinct photographic portfolios, and most importantly, figure out why he forces people into these highly immersive, slightly disorienting physical installations.
Because he doesn't just hang pictures on a white gallery wall.
No, not at all.
He takes flashes of pure chaos and turns them into these deeply intimate, abstract art experiences. Experiences where you, the person looking at the piece, actually have to become the ultimate co-creator of the art itself, or the whole thing just falls apart.
Which is a massive and honestly quite demanding shift in how we usually consume visual media. But to really understand how he built this world, we have to go back to the 0 point.
Right, the year 2012.
2012. He describes this year as experiencing a spiritual birth.
And I love this part because it wasn't born out of some pretentious, rigidly planned academic thesis.
Right, he wasn't sitting in a university studio somewhere.
No, he was just looking at a small, flickering fire. And entirely by chance, he captured what he calls a mysterious message through his camera.
And the lack of a master plan there is, I think, so crucial to understanding his identity.
Yeah.
Because he is an autodidact. He's completely self-taught.
No formal training.
None.
Yeah.
He didn't have an art history professor breathing down his neck telling him what contemporary art, should look like. He learned by trial and error. He built his own framework just by refusing to quit when things didn't make sense.
One of the sources actually uses this incredible imagery to describe his process. They compare him to a modern-day Prometheus.
Oh, the myth of the guy who stole fire from the gods.
Yeah, but instead of stealing it, they say Dr. PhldrmauZ was stalking fire until it showed him its soul.
That is a great visual, and it gets right to the agonizing patience required for his very first major portfolio, which he titled Magical Flames.
The fire photos.
Right. These are entirely unmanipulated, raw photographs of real fire. There is no digital alteration, no AI generation. It is just the pure, chaotic alchemy of the flame.
Just a camera and a fire.
Exactly. And what he is hunting for in that chaos is pareidolia.
Let's actually define that for a second, because pareidolia is one of those words that sounds incredibly technical, but it's a super universal human experience.
We all do it.
Right. It's the psychological phenomenon where your mind sees a recognizable shape or meaning in complete meaningless randomness. The classic example is seeing a face in a piece of burnt toast.
Or a bunny in a cloud.
Exactly.
And let's look at the mechanism of why we actually do that. Think of pareidolia like a predictive text algorithm on your smartphone, but for your visual cortex.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Your brain is desperate to find familiar patterns, especially faces, to keep you safe. So when you feed it visual static, like the chaotic random shapes of a fire, the predictive text just goes haywire.
He's trying to autocorrect the fire.
Yes. It desperately tries to autocomplete a face that isn't actually there.
So it's an optical illusion generated entirely by your own desperation for order, but capturing that in a moving fire, I mean, he discovered that the odds are staggering.
They are so low.
For every 1,000 pictures he takes of a fire, only one, literally 1 in 1,000, freezes a microsecond where a distinct pareidolia image forms before vanishing forever.
The sheer volume of failure required to curate that collection is just immense. You're sifting through 999 frames of meaningless noise just to find one where the predictive text of the brain actually clicks into place.
That dedication to the search is what built Magical Flames. But from there, his vision expanded into 2 other distinct portfolios.
Right, he didn't just stop at fire.
No. The second one is called Energetic Visions, which seems to step away from just the raw fire constraint.
It does. Energetic Visions incorporates both color and black and white photography, and the defining characteristic shifts from fire to sheer mystery.
Pure mystery.
Yeah, the essence here is pure wonder. The images are highly abstract, and they're specifically designed to evoke random emotions and thoughts in the viewer, rather than just, recognizable shapes.
But then we get to the third portfolio, Inopinatus nuditas, which translates to unexpected nudity. And at first glance, doing exceptional artistic nude photography feels like a massive left turn from stalking campfires.
It does, until you look at how he presents it. This is where you really start to see the architect emerging. If you go to his website to view this portfolio, the images are completely blurred out.
Wait, you can't even see them?
You cannot see them clearly. You can only see the crystal clear versions if you physically attend one of his exhibitions.
So he is intentionally breaking the digital consumption of his work.
Exactly. Think about how we consume images online today. We scroll, we glance for half a second, we double tap, and we just move on.
Right, it's all haste.
Yes. By blurring the digital versions, he is establishing a hard boundary. He's telling the viewer, if you want to experience this, you have to commit physically. You have to slow down.
He's forcing you offline, which actually perfectly bridges into the philosophy behind all of this, because taking that 1 in 1,000 fire photo or shooting a blurred nude, that's just the mechanical step.
It's just the tool.
To understand why he's doing this, we really have to look at the PhldrmauZ manifesto, which acts as his spiritual and creative compass.
And the manifesto is where he really articulates this rebellion against modern consumption. One of the core tenets he wrote is, I do not search, I discover. I don't invent everything. I recognize what presents itself.
I love that distinction, the difference between searching and discovering, because searching implies you have a preconceived idea of what you want and you're just hunting for it.
Trying to force an outcome.
Exactly. Discovering means you are open to whatever the universe throws at you. He explicitly says that imagination reveals what is hidden by haste.
Haste. Rushing through life. That goes right back to the very beginning of our conversation. The visual bouncer in your brain, filtering out the noise so you can rush through the day.
He's actively trying to fire that bouncer.
Totally. He doesn't view his photography as decoration to match the color of your living room sofa. He explicitly categorizes it as slow art.
Slow art, where there is no right way to look at it. But I have to be honest here, I want to push back on this a little bit.
Okay, let's hear it.
If his entire process is pointing a camera at a fire, taking thousands of pictures, and just waiting to see if the universe randomly generates a shape.
Where is the artistry?
Right, where is the art in that? Is he actually the artist, or is the fire the artist and he's just the guy holding the net?
That is the defining debate of contemporary abstract art, right?
Yeah.
Where does authorship actually live?
Yeah.
For Dr. PhldrmauZ, he openly admits the fire is an autonomous image generator. He isn't painting the flames. But the artistry, the authorship, lives entirely in the perception, the curation, and the contextual framing of that specific fraction of a second.
So the art is the decision-making, recognizing the 1 frame in 1,000 that actually triggers a psychological response?
Yes, but it goes even deeper than that. The art doesn't actually finish happening when he selects the photo. It finishes happening in the mind of the viewer. That's why his use of pareidolia is a mechanism. It's not just a visual trick. Meaning isn't imposed by him. He is just providing a psychological mirror.
Got it.
The meaning emerges through your cognitive dissonance.
What do you mean by cognitive dissonance in this specific context?
Okay, so when you look at one of his photos, your brain sees the visual texture of fire, but it sees the shape of a dragon or face.
Right.
Those two pieces of information conflict. Fire shouldn't have a face. That contradiction causes a cognitive glitch in your brain. It forces a momentary delay in time while your brain frantically tries to resolve the paradox.
And in that split-second delay, you are no longer on autopilot.
Precisely. That is why he calls himself a verwonderings architect, an architect of wonder, and a perceptual paradox architect. He engineers that exact delay.
But here's the problem with that. If the art relies on forcing the viewer out of their autopilot, you can't just hang that picture on a sterile white wall in a traditional art gallery.
No, absolutely not. Because traditional galleries are often the safest, most passive environments in the world.
Yeah, you just walk in.
People walk in with their intellectual armor on, they nod at a painting, they read the little white card next to it, and they walk to the next one.
So, to truly trigger that perceptual shift, he realized he had to control the environment itself. He had to build physical worlds to make the viewer vulnerable to the paradox.
Yes.
And that brings us to the first major installation we need to talk about. Templum Admirandi, the Temple of Wonder.
This is his manifesto translated into physical architecture. Templum Admirandi is a 3D pop-up exhibition designed for both day and night. And he designed the physical structure himself. It's this highly symmetrical, maze-like bamboo construction.
And it's not a room you just walk into and stand in the middle of. It is an active, physical journey.
Very active.
This installation specifically houses the pareidolia fire photos from Magical Flames and the abstract pieces from Energetic Visions. And because of how the bamboo maze is structured, you are literally forced to walk in, around, and through this paradoxical photo world.
He is physically forcing a blend of realities.
Yeah.
You have the tactile, natural reality of the bamboo and the outdoor environment, aggressively colliding with the elusive fantasy of his abstract images.
It's sensory overload in a way.
Exactly. It disorients you just enough to strip away that gallery armor we just talked about.
And we know this works because he keeps guest books, and the documented reactions in these books are incredible. They prove that pareidolia acts as a psychological mirror.
Oh, the guest books are fascinating.
Several are looking at the exact same photographs and projecting wildly different realities onto them.
The variety is amazing. You have entries from people seeing a flying swan, a crawling mushroom, skulls, flowers, animals,
And buttocks.
and buttocks.
I have to pause on the buttocks. Think about how funny, but also how profound that actually is.
Right.
You are staring at a majestic 1 in 1,000 capture of raw primal fire, and your brain goes, yep, that's a butt.
It completely validates his thesis, though.
Totally. You bring your own subconscious baggage to the image.
Exactly. But beyond the specific shapes, the overarching theme in these guest books is a profound appreciation for the abstraction itself.
What do you mean?
Well, one visitor wrote about the beauty found in the elusiveness of the fire. They noted how the brain instantly tries to decipher the language of fire, but the real aesthetic pleasure comes when you finally surrender and just let it be elusive.
You stop trying to solve the puzzle.
Yes, and PhldrmauZ himself notes a very specific, visceral indicator of success here. He says he frequently hears people literally yelling, "woo!" out loud as they navigate the bamboo structure.
Wow.
For an artist obsessed with perception, that involuntary exclamation is the jackpot. It is the audible sound of the cognitive glitch happening in real time.
But the peak of this experience, the moment where the philosophy fully crystallizes, is the communal aspect.
Right.
He believes the true beauty of the art happens when two people stand shoulder to shoulder, look at the exact same bamboo-framed image, and realize they see completely different things.
That shared realization.
Yeah, so for you listening right now, imagine walking through that temple. What would it feel like to realize the actual artwork isn't the photograph you're staring at, but the debate you are suddenly having with a total stranger about what reality actually is?
That realization turns an isolated observation into a deeply shared communal event. The viewer ceases to be a spectator. They become an essential structural pillar of the total artwork. Every single person who walks through that maze adds a new interpretation or filters something out.
It creates a memory that anchors itself to you because you actively helped build it. But, and this is where I find his evolution so incredibly fascinating, as an architect of wonder, he wasn't satisfied just exploring that communal safety net.
No, of course not. Once he proved the concept in a shared environment, he naturally had to test the absolute extreme opposite.
He had to push the boundaries.
He asked the terrifying follow-up question: what happens when you completely strip away the community? What happens when you isolate a single human imagination entirely, with no one else around to validate or debate what they are seeing?
And his answer to that question is an installation called the Box of Paradox. And the mechanics of this space are intensely intimate and honestly kind of intimidating.
It is the ultimate isolation chamber. The Box of Paradox is a mysterious, mobile curatorial platform, and it is housed entirely inside a standard heavy-duty shipping container, a Z container.
Just picture that for a second. You walk into a heavy metal shipping container and the steel door slams shut behind you.
Pitch black, basically.
It completely severs you from the outside world, and the rules he imposes inside this box are incredibly strict. First, only one person is allowed inside at a time. No couples holding hands, no friends to laugh with, just you.
Second rule: the entire experience lasts exactly 1 minute. It is a ruthlessly enforced time limit.
Just 60 seconds. Third rule: inside this metal box, you are presented with a unique sequence of exactly 3 different photos drawn from his portfolios, and they're displayed on a large screen, which means you get precisely 20 seconds per photo before it vanishes forever.
But the architecture of this space relies on one final, very crucial element.
The audio.
Right. The visual deprivation is paired with highly specific audio engineering. When you enter, you are required to put on headphones that play what the sources describe as soft, confusing music in the background.
It is basically a psychological pressure cooker. By overwhelming your auditory processing with confusing music, giving you an agonizingly short time limit, and physically trapping you in a metal box, he is forcing your logical brain to short circuit.
You simply don't have time to intellectualize the art.
No. Your conscious mind is overwhelmed, so your subconscious desperately projects meaning onto those 3 photos just to find some kind of anchor in the chaos.
That is the exact psychological impact he is engineering. In the bamboo temple, you had the safety of natural daylight and the comforting presence of other people to ground you.
You could breathe.
Right. In the Box of Paradox, he violently disrupts your equilibrium. The confusing music throws off your senses, and the extreme scarcity of time creates a frantic urgency.
And because every single visitor gets a uniquely generated sequence of photos, you can't even rely on post-experience validation.
You can't compare notes.
Exactly. You can't walk out of the container and say to the person in line, "Wow, did you see the skull in the second picture?" Because they are never going to see the second picture you saw. Their reality will be completely different.
By removing all external influence and post-game analysis, PhldrmauZ forces a hyper-personal reaction. He makes the lone visitor the absolute, undisputed co-creator of that specific fleeting memory.
It's wild.
It activates personal meaning in a way that traditional passive art simply cannot achieve.
It's honestly brilliant. He's taking the exact same core philosophy that art only finishes happening in the mind of the viewer, and he designed 2 entirely opposite architectural extremes to extract it.
Beautifully put.
One through the joy of shared conversation in a bamboo maze, and one through forced, intense psychological introspection in a metal box.
It perfectly encapsulates his incredible artistic growth. I mean, when we pull back and look at the whole picture, we are tracking a man who started as a self-taught guy who just happened to notice a strange shape in a campfire in 2012.
A guy with no master plan. He was just wise by trial, error, and an absolute refusal to give up. He stalked the fire until it showed him its soul.
And from that spontaneous, unplanned spark, he evolved into a master architect of wonder. He realized that the photograph itself, even the 1 in 1,000 miracle shot, was never the final product.
The photograph is just the bait.
Yes, the image, the bamboo structure, the heavy metal container, the confusing music, the blurred nudes, they're all just tools.
They're mechanisms.
Mechanisms engineered to prove his core thesis. That wonder is merely a starting point. It's the key that unlocks the door to your own perception. But true art is only ever completed by the observer's imagination.
He creates environments where your imagination is not just welcomed, but structurally required.
Is acquired, yes.
He proves that the human mind's desperate, predictive text need to find meaning in chaos isn't a flaw in our biology. It's actually the greatest creative engine we possess.
And that brings us perfectly back to the question we started with today. Looking at the chaos of the world around us and deciding what we are actually going to do with it.
In his manifesto, Dr. PhldrmauZ writes a line that I think serves as the perfect anchor for everything we've discussed today. He writes, "The reality is never finished."
The reality is never finished.
So the next time you find yourself staring into a chaotic scene, whether it's the dancing flames of a crackling campfire, the dizzying, overwhelming movement of a busy city street, or even just the random swirling grain of a wooden table, I want you to ask yourself a question. Are you just letting your brain efficiently filter out the noise so you can rush through your day? Or are you brave enough to slow down, embrace the paradox, and discover the hidden story your own mind is desperately trying to show you?